Hi guys, today I'm going to do this maximalistic day wear look. I'm a bit tired of minimalistic nude looks. We've moved away from COVID and I think it's time that before the world falls apart with Trump's policies, we might as well make the most out of it. Who knows what's going to happen tomorrow? So I'm just going to do this look while I talk about financial independence in a relationship and how that is important based on something that I came across recently through a friend. This is a long weekend here in Australia with Good Friday and Easter Monday being. So we have 4 days off. I'm just using my Bioma on my face. I might not talk about all the products. And sometimes I do miss showing them. So I apologize for that. I do want to talk about financial independence in marriage. And that is why that is a foundation for respect in marriage. I came across someone who I have known through work for a while recently, and it just raised a lot of questions in my mind, and I felt I was very lucky. Nothing to do with my skills to identify the right partner, but I just got lucky. I met my husband when I was 17, and I guess I made the right choice because I never have had to worry about financial independence. Although I am still a very independent girl. I buy my own things. I don't spend my husband's money in the things that I splurge in. This is all my money. I think it is important for a man and a woman to have that financial independence. Make sure that respect. Oh, I just applied sunscreen on my forehead. That's the ultraviolet sunscreen. Do you know that hair also needs sun protection because it can turn dry and brittle if you didn't protect your hair from the sun? When we talk about financial independence in a marriage, we're not talking about separation. We're talking about mutual respect, empowerment, and trust. Sorry, just applying my Urban Decay foundation. This is just to make it easy. Usually I do apply it with my brush, but today I just don't feel like it. What triggered me this thought was I came across someone who I've known for a while. So she is a nurse. She's from my place, and I have worked with her at the hospital. And she's not the first person I've come with a similar problem. She's worked for about 20 years. She's got 3 kids and a husband who is not a professional. I think he used to drive Uber because he could not find a job. He was not qualified enough to find a job, and she was the one who was the main income earner. So she wanted to meet me and talk to me. I guess she felt like, because Malayali people can be, it's like a close circle, so everybody knows everyone and people talk. My husband and we have kept a safe distance from associations and people because we're not that kind of, we have to live in a community. We are 8 in our family, and we are enough for a gathering. We are enough to celebrate something. So we meet the rest of the guys when my husband goes to play cricket, or when we meet them for a Onam. We don't even go for these because 8 of us, now that our kids are grown up, we're pretty happy, just the 8 of us. We're just happy to meet people casually, but we don't spend time a lot of just because they're Malayali. So I know this person through work, and she was like very upset. She told me her husband had gone to India, and then she found out that she had no money in her account. So she is a nurse. Nurses earn a reasonably good salary in Australia, about $100,000+. She literally had no money in her account just because he had been traveling frequently to India. She found out through someone that he had built a house in his name in India, and been spending all her income into this house. And She didn't even know about it. So she then wanted advice as to how to go about this. So one of the first things I said is take your open another account and transfer from now on, get your salary into your account, and whatever is the equation that she decides with her husband. There was other things, that he was having an affair and she wasn't sure, she wanted to forgive him, so there was few things she had to figure out how deep these issues were. And I didn't go to the depth of it all because I was a bit shocked that somebody could be siphoned. She literally felt cheated. So this was what was hurting her. Like literally this man was paying for this other woman's expenses in India and also had built a house. So she didn't know he was planning to move back to India and leave her and the kids. The only positive thing was, because she was the sole income earner, the house was in her name. Yes, of course, he had a share, so it was a 50%. And that's the reality. Like, if she was the main income earner, that does not mean he has no rights. I believe when somebody is taking care of the kids sitting at home, they do have some rights. Although this is quite controversial, because this poor woman used to work night shifts so they can have a higher income, because you get a loading when you work night shifts, and a lot of nurses choose to do that because that is a higher pay, and you work 4 night shifts a week, and 3 days you get off. But the reality is, although you are working 12 hours and you are back home, she used to sleep 3 hours and do the housework, take care of the kids, and then sleep an hour before she goes for her shift at, I think it was 8 o'clock or something. And she was tired. She's younger than me, and she had dark circles around her eyes. She was obese. And I really thought, my goodness, look at the sacrifices she has made and look what she's got in her life. So that got me to thinking what financial independence is and why it is important. So financial independence means each partner has a sense of autonomy in the marriage. That doesn't mean having secrecy or, selfishness. It means that both partners are equally informed and involved in major financial decisions. That is so important. Like, he went and bought a house and she didn't even know that all her money was spent on something that she didn't even have a name to. It also means there's space for individuality. So, career, passion, personal purchases, you can do it without feeling judged or guilty, because you are spending your money. To me, it's about being interdependent and not codependent. Oh, wow, that's so pigmented, and I just applied it directly onto my cheek. I love this blush because this is one of those powder blushes that actually look purple on my cheek. Why does it matter in marriage? Because it's a matter of respect. Marriage is about respect for each other, and that is rooted in equality. Without equality, no partner is going to give the other one equal amount of respect. It is not always the same, because relationships are not dynamic, are not static, and it changes. It changes with age, it changes with life events, and it's a dynamic live thing. The Urban Decay Ultra Violet palette. I know of someone who once complained to all his friends that his wife's family, when there was a division of property, handed over they purchased a house in her name, few streets away from the house they rented, and his name was not put on the house. And I found that very surprising that you would think of it that way. It's her family's money. It's not something she earned while they were in the marriage. So I didn't agree with that thought that her family had to. So I'm using this cyberpunk. Her family had to include his name, and I think personally maybe they didn't trust him to be loyal to her, or to support her. And I believed, and they were right, from the events that unfolded later, he did turn out to cheat. So, not going into details of who they are, I will just say this: why is respect and equality important? Because it reduces the power imbalance. Right now, my lady is feeling like helpless because she feels she can't leave the marriage because she was going to lose all that was spent in the house that he had built in India. She was feeling very helpless. If only one partner controls the marriage, there is risk of control, manipulation, and resentment. And as I said, when you start the relationship, it might all be hunky-dory, and things, who knows, things might change, and you don't want to be in a position where your decision is, you cannot take a decision, or you cannot move away or leave a situation because you are financially stuck in this rut with this other person who you no longer love. Why is it important? Because it promotes self-worth and self-respect. Being able to contribute emotionally, intellectually, or financially into a relationship promotes self-respect and boosts confidence. It is again not about codependence, it's about interdependence. Love quickly turns into obligation when one person feels trapped in a relationship. That is the coarses glitter I am using. Financial independence makes the relationship a choice, not a necessity, which is important for the health of the relationship, that you're not together for the society, you're not together for the children, you're not together for the finances. That is so important for the health of the relationship. Let's be very clear, financial independence is not about secrecy, it's not about hoarding, it's not about hiding, and it's not about making purchases without, example, major purchases without telling your partner. For example, if I went and bought a house and I didn't tell my partner, that would be so heartbreaking. It's about having an open conversation about your finances, about shared and individual goals. This is so important. Like, so that also if you make losses, one person is not bearing the burden of the losses because the other person refused to take any responsibility or partake in any decision making. This applies to something as a side note to health as well. I see often South Asian patients coming to me and telling, oh, you say you, for example, they're diagnosed with diabetes, they'll tell me, oh, I need to speak to my husband before I can commit to taking this medication. And I would think, why would you do that to him? Why are you putting the burden on him to make that choice that you need to be treated? Isn't that a choice you got to make? Are you running away from your fear and trying to make it look like he is the one because of whom you are now not being treated? That is so unfair. I would rather respect a woman who tells me, I'm going to have a conversation with my husband and discuss this and then come to a conclusion as to where I want to go with it. Exactly like that with finances as well. Have a discussion about budget together and personal spending, individual spending, respecting each other's money habits while sharing a life together. Using my favorite bronzer from Charlotte Tilbury. Just go over the contour more like it. As I said, I'm a bit sick of minimalistic looks and I'm just growing into that phase of going maximalistic. I mean, we are out of COVID, and after COVID we were like quite minimalistic, and with all of that is happening in the world with the Trump decisions, I don't know, maybe we will still go through another phase of a similar financial restraint and we might have to pull back. So before that happens, I am going to be in a maximalistic phase. Now, I do like to apply my Makeup by Mario Soft Sculpt Transforming Skin Perfector. we have still not applied my concealer. So just go, instead of the highlighter, sometimes I use this. So this is the Rare Beauty one. So how does financial interdependence in a relationship look like? So you have individual accounts, individual bank accounts. You both contribute either emotionally, intellectually. You don't have to be working. Does it mean if you're not working, you are not making a contribution? Absolutely not. Say for example, one of the partners decide that they are not going to be working, but they're going to be making a contribution by taking care of the home, taking care of the children, and stay at home, be a stay-at-home mom and dad. Yes, that is a financial contribution. Imagine in today's world, when you send your child to childcare, I think it's $100 and something at the moment. When I was sending my son 16 years ago, it was $84 a day I used to pay for childcare. So imagine, you are saving money if we think financially, but also a mom taking care of, or a dad taking care of a child is never going to be ever a match to paying for your child's care. So that is considerable contribution to your offspring, and that needs to be taken into consideration. And respecting that decision, the working partner should make a contribution into the non-working partner's account, so that partner has financial independence and would not have to ask another, for example, their dad or their brother. So this is the Rare Beauty one. So how does financial interdependence in a relationship look like? So you have individual accounts, individual bank accounts. You both contribute either emotionally, intellectually. You don't have to be working. Does it mean if you're not working, you are not making a contribution? Absolutely not. Say for example, one of the partners decide that they are not going to be working, but they're going to be making a contribution by taking care of the home, taking care of the children, and stay at home, be a stay-at-home mom and dad. Yes, that is a financial contribution. Imagine in today's world, when you send your child to childcare, I think it's $100 and something at the moment. When I was sending my son 16 years ago, it was $84 a day I used to pay for childcare. So imagine, you are saving money if we think financially, but also a mom taking care of, or a dad taking care of a child is never going to be ever a match to paying for your child's care. So that is considerable contribution to your offspring, and that needs to be taken into consideration. And respecting that decision, the working partner should make a contribution into the non-working partner's account, so that partner has financial independence and would not have to ask for their needs, their personal needs. That is so not equal partnership. So all kind of contributions count, whether it's financial, emotional, or intellectual. All of these need to be taken into consideration when the contribution. So you have a joint account where you make contribution. You then calculate the percentage of contribution each partner makes, and then you agree upon it. And I think that is a very crucial thing to create a space of respect and equality in a relationship. Just curling my eyelashes. And it is also important, each person has access to financial decision making, planning, and education, and it's not like one person is handling it all or carrying the burden of all the decision. It matters because initially when you're young, women often find it easier to just jump in and do it instead of, giving that space for the other person to come on board and give their 5 cents. And men often, when they are too busy with their careers, they tend to just leave it all with their partner, and that is a huge burden to carry. And often women also have the added on responsibility of taking care of young families, taking care of the cooking. So even if she's at home, don't burden her with every decision either. So some people go the other way. You leave it to the partner to make every decision and tell you and point out to a space where you should just apply a signature. That's not the best way to deal with it either. So for the lip, I'm going to go very maximalistic. This is the best mask. I am growing into it. So we're going to do this slowly. This is the Color Stay Revlon Matte Lip Crayon. And this is in the shade Souffle All Day. So I'm going to use my NARS liquid lipstick in the shade Aragon. This is more like a lip oil, and that's why I like it. Setting spray, let it dry, and after that I might go with my powder. So then I'm going to go with my Hourglass Wheel translucent powder. I love this powder. I was gifted this by my daughter. I was tossing between the Laura Mercier and this one. I want to buy the baked powder from Laura Mercier. I should probably invest in it. So I'm going to apply the Fields at Nightfall blush from Zara. I love this perfume. Ooh, perfume. These are one of my favorites. I also love this from Zara. This is the Hypnotic Vanilla Bloom. And my everyday one is this Breezy Rose from Zara. So that is all about financial independence, and that's my kind of day maximalistic look. Financial independence is a form of love. It says, I trust you, I respect your goals, I value your freedom, and choose you not because I need you, but because I want to. That is such a way of showing true love to someone. Money can be a channel for respect or a tool for control. Choose wisely and make the right decision so that in the long run, none of us are suffering or regretting our decisions. I did not apply a concealer because I didn't think I needed one. For the mascara, I'm using the Maximist from Bare Minerals. So I've just applied my second coat to accentuate that. I do have a mole here as well. I got a line. Thank you for your time. Please do like, share, and subscribe to my channel.